Amazing. Finally, it's summer. It's very hot, and I'm in a good mood chatting to you today.
Dana, when you're in a good mood, I'm in a good mood. Sun's out, Europe's on fire. We love to see it.
Great. Let's get started.
Let's do it. Give me some context. I mentioned on the stream that you are essentially the European Palantir, but if it was ethical, give us some intro into the background, yourself, the company, and let's get into it.
Yeah, okay, let's start. Yeah, that was a big headline. Finally growing into that. So just on my background and on Circonomit, maybe that is also, sometimes I explain myself on Circonomit in one person. I guess happens when you build a company. Myself, I'm Dana. I'm something between a nerd and I think an artist. I love math. I'm a mechanical engineer by background. I spent the last 5 to 10 years just thinking about root cause relations of our world. Started in production engineering, energy system engineering, and now we're here. I mean, production companies are our clients. I just got obsessed on how we can make modeling the world and making complexity manageable 10,000x faster. You prepared some questions, so
we've got to hit some talking points. The beauty of this stream, it's all happening in real time. It's not pre-prepared, and so we get to ask you the hardest questions on the planet, make you look amazing. Dana,
great.
How the hell do you build a product like this? I was doing a lot of research for this particular segment because I think it's very important to highlight the work that you're doing that isn't just a super powered Excel. It's almost as if you're building a brain for the company, right? And that's how you described it to me. When we think about the brain and the causational relationships, how do you end up building something like that? Can you technically break it down for me or give me some overview so that I can wrap my head around this beast that you're building?
Yes, of course. So I think we just started. We had no idea about startups, had no idea how complex it could be. We just went in, and when we were working with the industry, we realized, and I guess that's a good thing about me and my co-founder, that we can think very abstract. So for us, let's take this bottle. Let's take myself, let's take this bottle, let's take the building I'm in. For us in the digital world, it's all an object. So it has a name, it has a unit, it has a number. So talking in this sense, we have the ability to make an ontology layer, so basically modeling reality, in a very simple way. And that makes it possible, compared to most of the computer systems, to connect, let's say, me with this building, connect the bottle with myself, then split this bottle into different objects. And in this way, it's very tangible, very easy, and on the other end, very abstract, that we are that we have the ability to build reality and map everything that we can see, that we can feel, represented as a digital object. Give it any information you can think of, a name, a number, the size of the building, how many rooms it has, what electricity it consumes. In this way, basically there's on the technical end no restriction of what we can represent. And I guess that's also on the tech side talking. If an Excel is a very powerful table, then we are the ones at building trees and mapping all these wires in the company. And we start with one question. It's very easy. It's okay, I have a power consumption, somehow I need to get it down. I don't know where I consume all that power, so then we can break down the power about an area key, break it down to different machines, break it down to different departments of your company, etc., etc. So it's basically decomposing where the energy flows. And in this way, you get the first digital representation of your energy flows and you know where to improve. And you can do that with everything. It's okay, we have people working in the company, they have to, they are on different projects. So we can map the time, hours spent on projects, map to the project, and the project map to the revenue, and this is mapped to the overall financial performance of the company. So it's, in a sense, in calculating through everything you can imagine. And it's one question at a time, one model at a time, until we are done.
I love it. How often are the companies that you're working with, the enterprises, have this level of mapping over their company to the degree that you need it to be? Or is a lot of the work initially actually getting a breadth of what is going on, and do you understand what's going on?
Yeah, I guess it's like two things. So how are they solving it today? They have like 50 different Excels and they try to connect them. And then sometimes it takes longer to look up an information in an ERP system in an Excel than you have to take a decision. So I think one first problem we are solving, it's simply we make that 10,000x easier and faster. It's like as easy as
Not
playing Lego
100x, 10,000x. I love it.
we stopped the clock on like how long it would take to map the Excels and how easy even a person that doesn't understand processes or can't do math can build a model on a visual canvas that can calculate. So that's the first thing. I guess it's just like unlocking just like time spent that people spend today. So business controllers that are a core persona we are working with, they break it down. They have the deviation in their financials, they take it and they really go down to like, why did that machine break down? And that cost me that amount of euro. So they are going in detail. And then there's a second thing that we unlock, which is we have the ability to also map cause relations when you improve something. Sometimes it has its upside, sometimes it has its downside, and there are loops in things depend on each other. And what an Excel is doing is like always thinking straightforward. So you insert an input here and then you have an output.
Mm-hmm.
And what we make possible is to unlock and understand dependencies that you couldn't manage before. So I always say we can encode the gut feeling because we make it possible to not only calculate through something from A to B to C, but also map all these relations. And I think that's a thing that wasn't possible before with simple tables, just by the pure idea how the data structures were. So yeah, I think one is an efficiency thing and one is the thing that we unlock something that wasn't possible before, and because we make it accessible and representable in the digital world.
I've got literally so many questions running through my mind right now. When we're thinking about the causational relationship that's existing between systems, the different Excels, etc., like how did you think about, like, obviously you've got to a state where you can visualize it, but that initial concept of like, how the hell do you even come up with something someone is going to understand on a visual plane? Is it very much like a visualization, like a mirror board, or is it something that is more complicated?
No, it's like a mirror board. I even showed it to VP operations yesterday, and he was like shocked in a positive sense because he expected some Microsoft Power BI, and he said like it's so much better because in Microsoft Power BI and all the analytics tools you have your hard-coded, very powerful, but in a sense, like that is your analysis. And then you think like, oh, I want to tweak a bit here, I want to connect it with this one, so all the simulation, and that's what we do. So if you know Miro, if you know Figma, it's basically us that we can calculate. So it's like that easy.
So you've taken that UX, plugged it on a super brain, and you sort of like ship it out into the world.
Yeah, and since you asked how did we come up with this, I would say it's like very hard work, being obsessed and never stop. I guess I chatted to over 2,000 people in the last 2 years. So I was always asking, here's what I have, what do you think? I even asked people like, okay, that is what I explained to you, what did you understand? And just like brutally honest, whomever I talk to, just like, okay, here, give me your opinion, what is the value? So I think it's just like hard work on knowing that what we solving is like one of the hardest things we could imagine. So it's just like hard work, talking to people every day, iterating, and just being obsessed with iteration.
Why is this the hard problem that you've decided to solve? You could apply your mind and the team's mind to everything, but this is the one. I've got to ask why. Is it because it can unlock so much economic power for the company? It unlocks capital for the company. It gives people back time. What's the driving motivator here?
Oh, you know, I was a nerd. I was in research. I was working with industrial companies, and I was really caring about the environment. Because for me, it was so ridiculous that we have systems that track money. Then we have some trends about sustainability. Then no one cares about the social aspects. And for me, it's like it's so logically interconnected. So if someone in the company is sick, you have to pay them, but they don't earn you money. So it makes super sense to understand the social parts. Then the same with resources. Some people still believe sustainability is just a miracle, but I mean, it's reality. Just very unemotionally talking, you have resources. If we consume more then that grows, then it will get more expensive because resources will get scarce. So, and I was looking through that for like years, and I was like, oh my God, people are just so stupid in making decisions, not because they're stupid, because I always say we've built a world that got faster and more complex, and we forgot to write down on the way while we were building it how all things are interconnected. So yeah, I just got obsessed with like making good decisions, and it is all interconnected, you know. If it's better for the financials, it's better for the people, it's better for the environment, because it's like one nested system. So I guess I just hate bullshit and I truly care about humans. So for me, and yeah, and I appreciate the financial system and capitalism for being a tool, not the goal of everything, because if you're not happy, you have money, it's shit. So yeah, so I was like, okay, if this is all interconnected and we are currently not able to manage it, and people are overwhelmed or people are scared, then I looked at where do people get very happy and excited, and that is with games. So I was like, okay, what if we would build enterprise software that is as easy as a B2C app or as games to encode reality? And yeah, I mean, the storyline is, of course, you save money. For me, it's like truly because they care about humans. But since it's all interconnected, I was like, okay, someone has to do the work on like, yeah, encoding reality that we as humans forgot to do for a few decades. Yeah.
It feels like more than a few decades, though. I think we're moving into a few centuries at this point. The way that,
yeah, probably.
The way that you describe it has got me thinking. It feels like Sims for enterprise, but those Sims are your exact business. But the way that the platform is obviously felt and used is very similar to this ethereal palantir that we always mention. I want to touch on something before we get into some more questions. The reactive to proactive decisions that you're sort of supercharging, right? Did you think about the latency that is actually what allows us to make a decision? Or has the outcome of using the product been, oh, actually, having these proactive decisions that we can make in real time have been beneficial to the business 1000x?
Yeah, I mean, it's the mixture. It is like, if you believe, it's like so ridiculous, the problem statement, but if you believe it takes longer to look for information in a system, then you actually have to make a decision, then we have a problem. So how it's currently today, like most businesses, I would say definitely 9 out of 10 are like, oh, monthly financial statement, damn it, things worked out not as the way we planned it. You know, yeah, so that is a lag measure. You know, accounting the way we did it is a lag measure on like, oh, that's a status quo when it's too late. So we changing that process from, if there is an operational thing happening, machine breaks down, I don't know, someone gets sick, whatever. You can take very simple examples. How does that operational actions that happen daily, where you can actually steer your business, how do they map to the core KPIs of your company? And that's basically the model. I mean, that's a brain. So yeah, what you said, it's just like, yeah, we act before it's too late, because else if we just do accounting, it's too late.
We don't want to be searching for information to make decisions. We want it teed up on a plate to us so that we can inform ourselves better. When it comes to the model behind the scenes and how this thing comes together, the brain, so to speak, what does that end up looking like from your end? I don't want to dive into the company jewels, but on a broad scale, are you sort of building multiple models that can think together? Or is it a little bit more simple and I'm just overcomplicating it?
No, it's like, I always say, because you mentioned Palantir, I mean, where's Palantir coming from? Palantir is coming from working with large companies, having loads of data, running an analysis, extracting the patterns, and mapping this into an explicit ontology. The way we are coming also, especially in the German and European market, is like some of the information are not digitalized yet. So we building the tool where, you know, the person who's working the production line, they know, oh, this machine will break down. And they not only know that it breaks down 2 hours per month, they also know why is it breaking down. So they not only have the information, but they also have the dependency. And that's us giving them the tool is really insert a data block, put the information, connect it, and then we can build a model as big as you can imagine. Of course, we're working on product functionalities that you have the production line, and then you would know if you have 5 plants and you're producing a product. It is roughly looks the same. So in a sense, you can copy your brain of this production facility. It maybe has another energy source because one is having solar power, the other one is still running on the fossil fuel. But the production of this bottle roughly has the same machines in both of the production plants. And this way we think about one question is one submodel, and the brain of your company is the sum of loads and loads of single models you can put together.
That honestly, you're blowing my mind. I feel like I could talk for hours.
That's good.
When it comes to the simulation aspect, so is the essence that like as an enterprise, and once we've mapped everything, I should be able to run experiments on what is possible if I choose to change certain things in my supply chain, in my product output, in my and how marketing affects my business as well.
Yeah, 100%. If you talk to my co-founder, he would say we are building the strategic twin of the company. So it's the most valuable asset. So if you would take that and you can copy and paste it, and it's like a simulation of your business. So if you take a simple revenue org, so a simple sales and marketing example, it would be like you have different people in the department of sales and marketing, you have different initiatives, I don't know, cold outbound, write a LinkedIn ad, etc. And we would be the one, that would be one model, so mapping the time spent of people and the budget spent on the initiatives, and then the initiatives mapped to the revenue. So that would be one simple model, so you could understand, okay, if I play around here, what does it mean talking revenue, for example. And you can imagine that was all like, oh, should I employ 2 or 5 people? What would it mean? And then you could build a model, okay, what is the production or the productivity of that person? So it would cost me this amount of salary, etc., etc. So it's basically, So we are not hard-coded in any way, so you can map one input to the other, the way it represents your reality in that moment.
As the world becomes more autonomous and more automated in the things that we do, does your life get easier when it comes to mapping?
I guess what's very handsome is this language to model. So if we're talking, we forgot to write down everything once we build our company, so now we have to build a model first. So we call that the onboarding, so building the model. And that's very cool because you have data that holds knowledge that you can map to the model, where you can extract patterns. Then you have humans, and then you have the world knowledge. For example, I don't know, you have a machine, you don't need to go to the production facility in order to look up what the electricity consumption is. You can also look it up in the internet, and if you want to get even more primary data, of course you should insert a sensor. And where this whole autonomous and also AI helps in helping people think and code their reality. So I would speak, that's how I build models, by the way. So I would speak, I have like, okay, we have that company and they have this problem, that's their steering KPI. I know that A, B, C, D are their influencing factors. Did I forget something? And then if I think about 5 things they have with the language model, you also understand, oh, there are another 2 things I didn't think of, so we can map that to the model. So we think about this whole AI and language as a very simple entry threshold in encoding reality that just helps you think. So I chatted with someone yesterday, a VP, he says, oh, every time I go to work, I talk into my phone, and it would be so cool if it not just gives me a visualization, but I can actually calculate through it. So yeah.
That is insane. I feel like I'm using the word insane because you're consistently blowing my mind. You mentioned to me that you had an investor ask you a question once, and it was like, Dana, what is the largest decision that you would optimize? What is it?
Yeah, I would say how to build a nation. I thought if I say that and people see that recording, they think I'm crazy.
But we love a bit of crazy, though. I think it's what makes Europe the best place in the world.
Yeah, I mean, and that's where the nerd comes out again, right? Because for me, it's like everyone is an individual and they are grouped into something that's called a company, and then they are also grouped into something that we call a nation. So basically, for me, it's both a system, and I believe that we manage companies, but ultimately, if a whole nation, you know, the whole economy is bad, and then this will affect the companies and vice versa, because the nation, in a sense, is just a sum of the companies. So the way I think about it is like encoding one root cause relation at a time, and once we are done with the companies, we think on nation level.
Then I think we're going to fast forward a little bit. On like broad strokes, how would you do it?
The same would do today. I would start as like, what is the question we should ask as a nation? What is the responsibility of a nation? That's actually a very interesting question.
What is the responsibility of a nation? To create a society that benefits all of the individuals inside of it is sort of the perfect socialistic state. I think America is probably in how do we extract the most value out of all of the individuals that exist in our society. I don't know. What's your take?
I would say I like the America thing. It's like also protecting your nation. That's what all the discussions we have in public at the moment. And I feel it's like the same if you're a company, you have responsibility for your employees because they give you their lifetime and you owe them money for them to run their life. And because you said how would I start, I would ask like, what is the steering question of a nation? And then I would start encoding it. I was like, okay, if we say it's like protecting your humans, giving them a safe space, healthy, and they giving them a room so they can create output, which is again a thing that we as a nation can exist if everyone has their responsibility. What does it mean? And then I would go really vertical by vertical. It's like, okay, they need water and power supply. They need a safe infrastructure. And then I would go always ask the question, okay, so what does that depend on? And always ask this why question, and then build, detangle the model.
You make it sound so perfectly simple to build a nation.
Well, I was with the political debates. Sometimes I feel like we are talking gut feeling, black and white, and most of the times, simple example from the production: a machine breaks down, and so then for the first 5 days, your customer will wait for the delivery. From day 6, it will cost you $10,000 a day for not delivering. So then someone would ask you, okay, we have to wait 2 weeks for for the source part supplier to bring in the part. Should we rather get someone quicker that flies in the part supply for us that we can start producing on day 3? And it's like, it depends on like if you would have to pay the customer at day 30 and not at day 6, then you should wait, if not. So everything we have is like an optimization and trade-off decision. And I think that also applies to nation level, basically, that what I want to do like truly is to give decision makers, either on company or nation level, the tool to know that things are not black and white, but to determine the right trade-off decisions. And I think that's not possible at the moment because we can only measure the outcomes, but not measure complex trade-off decisions. And complex trade-off decisions is something we had in math all the time because it's just an optimization problem. So I would say we democratizing, bringing optimization problems to everyone, or the ability to solve them.
And that is and that's the purpose of a nation state.
In the end, for me, it's always a hard question, like what is a great nation? But I guess it would be good if we already start not discussing on gut feelings of overtired humans, but starting to understand what really means having a good life, providing a secure state for these humans. How do we define it? And also, quantify and qualify the information.
I feel like the way that you explain, and as throughout the conversation, you see the world, or you can think about the world in binary, or you can think about it in black and white, but at the same time, like deeply human. How do you build a team that has to understand both?
I would love to bring my team on one day to your show anyway, but
we're absolutely going to have them. At some point, we're going to have to do a live stream with all of them because they seem like the most crack people on the planet from what you said.
Yeah, I love my team. They're amazing. I guess it's like getting people on the team that can think abstract but are genuinely good human beings so that they can read in between the lines and that they truly care about the other person sitting in front of you, caring about what happens to humans and the world, but having this ability to think in an abstract way. And also with yeah, and also with this decision making, I think you cannot quantify everything in numbers. And so we also have that in the development. It will take a few years, but how can we quantify things that are emotional that you can't quantify in numbers? Yeah, that's a thing we can chat about in the future. We haven't encoded that yet, but yeah, I guess it's like if people behave irrational, what you gonna do about it? You know? Yeah, that's a very human problem. So
Do you think that that's a human problem you can solve for? Or actually it's just humans being humans and it will never be possible to do that?
we can't solve that today. I love psychology, and yeah, I don't want to live with the fact that we can't solve that. So I still believe like if humans are born, they are not bad, but they are good. So yeah, one day I went to the kindergarten and talked to the kids, and sometimes no, like literally 20 out of these 20 kids understood a bit more than some leaders in their 50s or 60s. So I believe like if kids are born, they are good. I mean, that's getting very philosophical now, but yeah. So now, no idea how to solve that yet, how humans behave. Humans will be humans, but yeah, I'm still wrapping my mind around it day by day.
Dana, it feels
If I have
like
a solution, I will come up.
if anyone's going to do it, it's probably going to be you at this point. So I appreciate the time. I'm looking forward to doing this again. Thank you for blowing my mind consistently over the last 20 minutes. Right? We absolutely have to do this again with the rest of the team. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too. Thanks so much for getting me on, and happy to continue anytime.
I appreciate it. We love Europe. We love the teams that are building out of there. Thanks so much, Dana. Ciao.
Yeah, thank you. Ciao.